I am going to discuss the statement, "Everybody knows the media is bad for society," focusing upon the modern assumptions in regards to social media. It seems that since the revolution of modern social media, it has rapidly become an integral part of society and a new means of communication. In early February this year, the vastly popular social network Facebook turned 10 years old and now has over 1 billion monthly users. Other websites with a huge user base include Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all changing the face of modern communication. It is obvious that social media is now an important part of society, as it allows anyone to have an easy connection to their peers in moments, and allows for connections between people who may not have had the opportunity to see each other in a real-life context. This, however, raises a lot of concerns which sometimes overshadow the immense benefits and accessibility of social media, particularly in children and teenagers. The concern raised includes physical dangers, physical effects, and social effects of social media. Many parents are often concerned with the physical dangers that social media supposedly presents. These include online predators, undertaking reckless behavior for the sake of online status, and privacy breaches. Another occurrence orchestrated by social media which has become a concern is catfishing, which the Daily Mail UK describes as the phenomenon of internet scammers who fabricate online identities and entire social circles to trick people into romantic relationships. I'm sure we are also all familiar with being told, "Don't talk to strangers online," by parents and other concerned peers. While of course these concerns may be entirely valid, it is also important to remember that there are many precautionary steps that can be taken when interacting with others online. As Stephen Harrington said in the Week 5 lecture, the attitude is ban it, rather than educating users about the risks and what steps can be taken to eliminate these. Maybe it would be helpful for teenagers to be further educated about the risks, rather than simply being told to not put up any information about themselves online. Physical effects are also a major concern in regards to social media by society. Some of these concerns include addiction, changing personalities, impacting learning abilities, and poor physical development. Today, however, I am going to focus on the notion of addiction. With social media so easily accessible nowadays, many are beginning to become concerned about individuals being addicted to the networks and what implications this holds. Sometimes, however, society fails to consider the circumstances of individuals rather than just the technology itself, as some individuals are more likely to become addicted than others. As Dana Boyd notes in her book, It's Complicated, rather than being addicted to the social networks themselves, perhaps users are addicted to the socialization which they allow for, particularly in teenagers, as Stephen Harrington and Boyd suggest, that teenagers in a modern context have grown up with limited ability to interact with their peers in juggling education, jobs, expectations, and other family commitments. This is perhaps why they turn to social media, as this allows for individuals to interact with their peers without the need of time constraint that face-to-face communication causes. The final major concern of society in regards to social media is the social implications that it holds on modern relationships. Many believe that rather than stimulating and encouraging modern relationships, it does the exact opposite, disconnecting personal relationships, replacing offline interactions, and harming the development of vital social skills. Sherry Turkle, in a TED Talk, also highlights some of the implications that social media may be having upon society, noting that we're getting used to a new way of being alone together. People want to be with each other, but also elsewhere, connected to all of the other places they want to be. From my own personal experience, I know that I'm an avid user of social networks, accessing multiple platforms daily. However, in accessing these sites for long periods of time, it is only done when I'm without my peers. So that begs me to question, is it really making society less social, or is it simply allowing for more means of communication? Many would consider social media connection to be weakening relationships, but it is also just as easy to argue that these networks are strengthening relationships, allowing for connection and interaction without the physical face-to-face presence. Although some of the concerns regarding social media are somewhat valid, it is becoming a more and more predominant part of society which has to be adapted and integrated into everyday life. With many of the issues raised, as Boyd writes in a novel It's Complicated, it is easier for adults to blame technology for undesirable outcomes than to consider other social, cultural and personal factors that might be at play. While certain issues may exist within the usage of social media, there are also many significantly positive impacts it is having upon socialization and modern society.